Edouard Mendy breaks silence on Chelsea contract talks amid shock Thomas Tuchel admission. Edouard Mendy contract remains on the back burner as the Blues approach transfer dilemma. It would be easy to forget just how much Edouard Mendy has achieved in the past 18 months. The Chelsea shot-stopper has fallen out of favour and has become a victim of people focusing on what he can't do rather than what he can. The 30-year-old's form has dropped since winning the African Cup of Nations with Senegal in February, and doubts over his future at Stamford Bridge have only increased. Potter, who prefers a ball-playing number one, only used Mendy after Kepa injured himself against Brighton, and the Champions League winning Kepa has only played in matches Chelsea have lost in the league since October. All of this comes at a time that the Blues had initially been hoping to hold contract talks. Since joining the club in 2020, Mendy has played in 6 cup finals, won the Champions League, AFCON, and helped his national side reach the 2022 World Cup. His rise, after being signed for just £22 million, is one of the biggest transfer success stories Chelsea have had in recent years, but things have turned this year. Mendy's confidence with the ball at his feet appears as low as it has ever been and looks even worse when compared to Kepa. He was already looking less assured at the back towards the end of Thomas Tuchel's tenure, and with Potter making his current position clear, questions have been raised as to where his long-term future lies. There were reports over the summer that Chelsea had been looking for new options in goal, with Jordan Pickford being on their shortlist. Mendy's refusal to sign a new deal isn't of immediate worry. It expires in 2025, but it does demonstrate that things aren't as smooth going as they could be. The season is still very long. Recently I got a few games again. One thing is certain, I will continue to give it my all in the hope of getting more playing time again. Mendy was voted as Senegal Football of the Year in 2021 and has lifted 3 trophies in his time at SW6, but he also admitted that winning AFCON was a bigger achievement than lifting the Champions League. Indeed, for me, even if you could certainly argue about that, he explained. To be honest, the AFCON triumph gave me 10 times more goosebumps than Porto in May 2021. That's a fact. Possibly the COVID situation also played a role, because in the Champions League back then no fans were allowed and we weren't even allowed to party with our supporters in the streets of London. The main part of Mendy's Chelsea success came under Tuchel, but like the rest of the side he fell from the highest perch and has had a torrid league season so far. Despite this, Mendy reflects well upon his time under the German. I will always remember Thomas Tuchel very positively, he added. The time with the Blues was super awesome with him. He has always given the maximum for his players and strived for the maximum. He could identify 1000% with his task. He was always straightforward, honest and loyal to his players. I really enjoyed my time with him. He came with his own ideas, his own game philosophy, and it immediately suited our squad. Just 4 months after succeeding Frank Lampard, Chelsea have won the Champions League. That was sensational. Reece James sends Chelsea cryptic message after World Cup snub with Gareth Southgate pressure. James will watch the tournament away from the squad after missing out on selection. Reece James has left a cryptic message on Instagram ahead of England's World Cup opener against Iran on Sunday. James missed out on Gareth Southgate's 26-man squad for the tournament in Qatar due to a knee injury he picked up against AC Milan at San Siro on October 11th. He hasn't played for the Blues since and was revealed to be in a race against time to return to fitness for the World Cup despite initial belief that the injury wasn't too bad. Things escalated though, and James found out that he would be out for around 8 weeks, 4 of which were in a protective boot. England chose to take Kyle Walker and Kevin Phillips to Qatar despite their own fitness worries and lack of game time, with James Maddison also a late doubt for the tournament opener with injury. James wouldn't have been ready for on-pitch action until at least the last 16 though, and the decision to take him would have been arrogant according to Southgate. Since then there has been debate as to how England will do without their starting wing-back, and a shoe-in for starting right-back too, with Paul Merson deeming England unable to win the tournament without him, whilst former national team boss Roy Hodgson doesn't think it's right to speak out against the decision. Hodgson was relating to a post that James issued before the squad was announced, saying, "I've worked harder than I ever thought I could to give myself the best chance of going and truly believed I could help the team. I appreciate there was risk on both sides, but it was one I was willing to take. Good luck to the boys. I'll be back soon. Stay safe and sending love." He has now posted a more cryptic message on Instagram, writing, "It's a crowd when it's time to party, but when it's time to put that work in it get lonely." James will be hoping he is available to play for Chelsea once more when Graham Potter's men return to action on December 27 against Bournemouth. Chelsea star Ruben Loftus-Cheek may face anxious World Cup wait amid England injury issue. Chelsea midfielder Ruben Loftus-Cheek could be in line for a shock call-up to the England World Cup squad, with the Three Lions concerned about the fitness of James Maddison. Ruben Loftus-Cheek could be set for a late call-up to the England World Cup squad, with star James Maddison nursing an injury. The Leicester City star was forced off in the first half of the Foxes' final Premier League meeting before the tournament. He had scored just 8 minutes prior to give Brendan Rodgers' side a 1-0 lead over West Ham as he continued a great vein of form. Maddison looked set to play a key role for Gareth Southgate in Qatar, but with a hamstring injury continuing to cause the 25-year-old discomfort, Loftus-Cheek will be anxiously waiting to swoop in and offer his services if called upon. Maddison is set to miss the Three Lions clash with Iran on Monday, having been absent from training in Qatar for the past 2 days. It's said that Southgate has until Sunday to decide whether he would like to replace the Leicester talisman in the 26-man squad. If the injured Maddison is to be replaced, Loftus-Cheek could then be on the England boss radar, having impressed this season for Chelsea at both centre midfield and right wing-back. The 26-year-old has featured 20 times for the Blues this term, directly contributing towards 1 goal. He's become a key component to the West London side's success in recent years, having been able to remain fit. Loftus-Cheek has done well to evade injury in recent times despite an infamously injury-ridden past. Whether Southgate is looking for an impact off the bench or a player similar to Maddison's technical caliber, the Cobham graduate injects brings intensity, exceptional ball-carrying ability and a notorious physical presence. According to 90 Minutes, Loftus-Cheek and James Ward-Prowse are the names at the top of the Three Lions boss list. The latter has played a greater role for England in recent years, though Loftus-Cheek played under Southgate at the 2018 World Cup and impressed when called upon. Speaking to the press on Wednesday, Maddison addressed his injury fears. "We had a scan the day before we met up," he said. "It was a positive scan. I had a little problem in the week building up to the West Ham game and post-Everton game, which was the week before for us. I wanted to play, I didn't want to not give it a go because of the World Cup. That's not the person I am." Maddison's scan on Sunday showed his knee was not a major issue heading into the tournament. A late call-up for Loftus-Cheek looks unlikely, but the Chelsea star mustn't give up hope just yet. Subscribe to the channel, leave your like and have videos updated every day. Leave in the comments what you think about the news.